Howard and the other subordinates put on a menacing smile. No one has ever escaped a terrible fate after being targeted by Mr. Rogers. Any man who offends him is either dead or crippled. He has never failed to obtain any girl he's interested in either. This is the first time Mr. Rogers is so fixated on targeting someone. Levi Garrison and Zoe Lopez will end up with a worse outcome than 6 years ago, and there will be no way for them to escape this time. Howard said, Levi is extremely lucky recently, Mr. Rogers. He encountered the Azure Dragon a few times and even met with the God of War yesterday. Jealousy glinted in Oswald's eyes. You are right. He is lucky. I envy his luck to get to meet with the God of War. He stumbled into the man even the richest men in the entire Northampton like us have never met once. However, Levi also met with me. Our meeting will be the start of his endless nightmares. That embarrassing incident involving the Lopez family spread like wildfire as they expected. Everyone in the family could no longer hold their heads high. Aaron and Caitlin were also ridiculed by their colleagues. Zoe did not escape a similar fate. Her friends were deliberately mocking her as well. This is all Levi's fault. Luckily, we are no longer staying with my parents. Otherwise, there will be no end to the insults directed at him. Nonetheless, I am glad that Levi is still alive despite our current circumstances. Levi left the house early in the morning that day, while Zoe went to work as usual. He visited Kieran's training base. All 80 mercenaries hired by Rick Garrison the other day were captured by Kieran and brought to the training base because Levi had a task for those people. He wanted to keep the mercenaries by his side because it was a hassle for him to transfer men from the Northampton war zone to do his bidding all the time. Levi was preparing for the future troubles he had to face. James and the other mercenaries were beyond shocked to receive the offer to become the God of War's bodyguards. We are all familiar with the God of War's legendary achievements and title. He is our motivation to survive in every war zone. This once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to serve him will bring honor to our family. I have assigned these people to serve you, sir. I also selected a few outstanding soldiers from the few war zones nearby to form a special operations regiment. So I will need your consent by signing on this order. Kieran said with a smile. Kieran was a man who was addicted to training soldiers into elite members of the special troop during his leisure time. Hand the papers to me. I will sign it. By the way, will you attend our first practice, sir? The newbies can admire you at that time. Okay. Levi agreed. Then he left after he was done assigning the tasks to the mercenaries. Levi saw Abigail in the house when he returned to the Bayview garden. Don't you have class today? Levi asked in surprise. There's no point attending those classes because I am already familiar with the content. I am very smart, after all. Abigail sipped on her yogurt drink while pacing around the living room in her shorts. Oh. My parents will visit Northampton tomorrow. I will treat my aunt and the others to a meal as well. You must join us, Levi. Abigail said cheerfully. Okay. I heard Caitlin came from an influential family. She disregarded the Black family's opposition and married Aaron of her own accord. Her action infuriated them. I've never seen Abigail previously because Caitlin's family never attended my wedding 6 years ago. Aaron asked Levi and Zoe to visit his house that night. He glared at Levi fiercely. We'll forget about the incident that happened yesterday morning, but you better don't embarrass us tomorrow. I will kick you out without any hesitation if you dare to act shamelessly. Zoe was caught in perplexity. What's happening tomorrow, Dad? Levi smiled. Abigail's parents are visiting tomorrow. Oh. Do you already know? I suppose Abigail told you? He's right. They are visiting Northampton tomorrow, and they will treat our family to dinner. Aaron elaborated. Caitlin said solemnly, Zoe, you are aware of the Black family's influence, right? I have to remind you in advance not to commit any error tomorrow because of your uncle's significant social status. All right, Mom. Zoe nodded. Levi asked nonchalantly, why are you so nervous? We are just having a meal together. Of course we are nervous. Abigail's parents are no ordinary people. Aaron looked at Levi and Zoe. Do you know why Abigail takes her mother's surname? That's because her mother, Pamela Rogers, is a member of the ultra-wealthy family in Northampton, the Rogers family. They requested for Abigail to take her mother's surname. I see. No wonder Abigail's surname is Rogers. Zoe was informed of that matter for the first time. Levi's eyes gleamed pensively. So, they are related to Oswald Rogers and his family. Are you aware of the importance of this situation now? Pamela is the Rogers family's representative. Levi and Zoe were only allowed to leave after Aaron nagged them relentlessly to be mindful and stay vigilant when meeting Abigail's parents. The next day, Abigail's parents, Bailey Black and Pamela Rogers, visited Northampton. They stayed in the Marriott Hotel and hosted the dinner gathering at the same venue. A normal room in the Marriott Hotel cost a few thousand per night, while the presidential suite was priced at no less than $80,000. It was a must for Bailey Black and Pamela Rogers to stay in the presidential suite of a 5-star hotel whenever they went on a trip. Aaron and Caitlin were astounded when they learned of the price because a night's stay was equivalent to 3 times of Caitlin's monthly salary. 4 people were seated inside the VIP private room on the 2nd floor of the hotel when Levi and the others arrived. There was another man inside the room aside from Abigail and her parents. Levi could sense Abigail's gloom instantaneously. She hurried over toward the door when she saw them. You're finally here, Levi. Bailey, Pamela, and the unknown man stood up simultaneously. Bailey Black was calm, collected, and dignified. Pamela, on the other hand, was covered in lavish clothing and accessories. She gave off the temperament of a member of the royalty. Besides, she seemed radiant like a famous celebrity because of her great effort in taking care of her body. That unknown man was tall and burly, with muscles that rippled all over his body. Levi knew that man was a soldier with a single glance. Aaron and his family sat around the table warily after a warm greeting between 2 parties. Abigail sat in between Levi and Zoe as if she was hiding from that man. Aaron did not dare to speak in the presence of Pamela Rogers. Caitlin looked at that unknown man and asked, Who is this, Pamela? Pamela answered delightfully, Caitlin, this boy is the son of your brother's close friend. His name is William Ramos, and he is an outstanding child. He is the first-ranking soldier in his camp, so he is selected to participate in the private training camp organized by the King of War, Kieran. William will be the upcoming military leader in the future. Levi thought to himself. So, he's one of the soldiers transferred here by Kieran? I guess he told everyone about the selection because that is indeed a significant achievement. William Ramos straightened his back and puffed out his chest proudly. He greeted Caitlin and her family politely when Pamela mentioned his name. Lust glinted in his eyes as he glanced at Zoe. Beauty sure runs in their family. Do not hesitate to ask me for help in the future, should you require any assistance. I will certainly have the capabilities to settle your troubles, William said to Aaron, Caitlin, and Zoe. Bailey Black nodded in satisfaction. This boy is highly competent. I am sure. He will become one of the highest-ranked soldiers in near future. Pamela smiled. That's for sure. I've never misjudged anyone. He will serve the King of War, Kieran, since he is selected to take part in the Special Operations Regiment training camp. Are you aware of Kieran's great name? Aaron replied, Kieran is the trusted aide of the Commander-in-Chief for the 9 war zones, God of War. That's right. I guess you and your family aren't completely ignorant. William will soon serve the God of War. Can you imagine the bright future that awaits him? Pamela asked. Aaron and Caitlin glared at Levi. Then they shook their heads and sighed. His future must be promising. Why is our son-in-law so useless when compared to others? I can't say the same for your son-in-law. Bailey sneered. Aaron's face turned sour. You are right. He's just a nobody. Dad, Uncle, that's not true. My brother-in-law is amazing. Abigail defended Levi while looking at him admiringly. Anger surged within Will Ramos at that sight. I've always liked Abigail, and I have now received recognition from Pamela Rogers herself. But Abigail still never smiles at me or shows any interest in me. So why is she looking up to this criminal who is just recently released from jail? This is outrageous. Don't be fooled by him, Abigail. His achievements 6 years ago were barely acceptable. But now, he's just a piece of human trash, Bailey said unmercifully. That's right. You're absolutely right. Levi is nothing compared to Will. Aaron and Caitlin agreed with Bailey. Abigail was about to speak further, but Levi held her hand to stop her. William noticed the intimate interaction of Abigail and Levi under the table. He gritted his teeth angrily and clenched his fists. But then he said with a smile after regaining his composure. The day after tomorrow will be the first day of our training camp. I want to invite both of you to the ceremony, Mr. Black and Madam Rogers. Perhaps we can get acquainted with the King of War, Kieran, if we are lucky. Kieran allowed the soldiers to bring their families along to the opening ceremony of the training camp. Will wanted to bring his parents initially, but he changed his mind on the spot and offered the chance to Bailey and Pamela. I heard the news of the God of War's participation in this ceremony as well. Although we will not get the opportunity to get acquainted with him, being able to admire him from afar in person is already a once-in-a-lifetime blessing. William was filled in anticipation for the day to arrive. I idolized the God of War and the 5 kings of wars serving him since I became a soldier. It is my biggest wish to meet them in person. So there is no way I can stay calm, knowing I can finally fulfill this greatest wish of my life soon. What? Really? Not only can we meet with the King of War, Kieran, but we can also see Protector of Arudia, the God of War in person? Pamela and Bailey almost leap in excitement. That's right. Each soldier is allowed to bring 3 people to the ceremony, so Abigail should tag along too. Will deliberately glanced at Abigail. Okay. We are attending the ceremony for sure. This is awesome. What if I am lucky enough to become acquainted with the God of War? I will be treated with respect even in the Rogers family if that happens. Pamela began to imagine a better life in her mind. We are so jealous of you. This kind of opportunity will never be available to us even after many lifetimes. Aaron and Caitlin envied Abigail and her parents because they wanted to meet with those legendary figures as well. Zoe, on the other hand, was unfazed. Pamela said arrogantly, well, we can't help you with that, Caitlin. This ceremony is not available to everyone, after all. However, Levi voiced out nonchalantly all of a sudden. It's just an opening ceremony for a training camp. We can attend whenever we want. Dreadful silence filled the room as they looked at Levi after he spoke. Even Zoe frowned at him. He's not able to change his bad habit of talking big even now. Will burst out with laughter. Ha ha ha, what did you say? You can attend whenever you want? What a joke. Do you know the qualifications required to be shortlisted for this training camp? Only the top 10 most outstanding soldiers from each war zone are selected. Who are you to join the ceremony anyway, Mr. Nobody? Levi chuckled. I can go because someone invited me. He even told me the ceremony would not proceed without me. Bailey and Pamela's faces were contorted with rage as they glowered at Levi. Aaron and Caitlin grimaced while Zoe lowered her head, desperate to find a place to hide. He's getting more and more ridiculous. The opening ceremony cannot proceed without him? I do not expect anyone to believe him because even I can't bring myself to listen to him. Abigail thought Levi was boasting too much as well. She was embarrassed by his brazenness too. Will laughed out loud. You're hilarious. The ceremony cannot proceed without you? Do you think you're the king of war, Kieran, or the god of war? Pamela gazed at Caitlin and Aaron solemnly. I am worried about the well-being of your family. This is unacceptable. Aaron exploded with rage. What did I tell you last night? Did I not ask you to behave and stop daydreaming? Are you disregarding my words now? We shouldn't have brought you here in the first place. You bring nothing but shame to our family. Caitlin glared at Levi fiercely. Levi sneered. You can say all you want, but I will attend the ceremony. Anyway. Bam. Bailey slammed on the table furiously. Is this how your son-in-law behaves, Aaron? He's not respecting us at all. Pamela was upset as well. We don't have to finish this dinner if your son-in-law is so capable. I'm afraid we are too lowly to share a table with your family's high and mighty status. Let's go. We're not staying here any longer. No one expected the sudden turn of events as the dinner ended disastrously. Aaron and Caitlin were startled. We wanted to seize this opportunity to mend my relationship with the Black family with their help. But Levi had to ruin everything as always. Colors drained from their faces. Please console your parents, Abigail. This is all our fault. We will apologize to them personally after your parents' anger subside. The couple placed their hopes on Abigail. Okay. Leave it to me. Abigail glanced at Levi with complicated emotions in her eyes. Will leaned against the door and jeered at Levi. I hope to see you at the opening ceremony the day after tomorrow.